Welcome, viewers, to yet another session of Women Instability in Times of Instability. I want to begin today's session by sending out my love, my prayers, and my wishes to all my city people. I know we are experiencing something which is totally out of the box, something which has not struck us in probably years, but I know that we Kolkatans have the spirit to fight it and to live up to the glory that we are used to. That is, we are definitely going to be coming out of this. I know it's very easy said than done, but I know the spirit and the prayers that we have all within us is going to take us a long way. So I wish everyone all the best for coming out of this disaster that we are facing since yesterday. A lot of people who have messaged me who are not going to be reaching out to Facebook Live today with me because of low internet. You can always hear the recording post the session. I'll be soon putting up that. But yes, to the ones who are tuning in to listen to us, thank you so very much. Amongst all the mess, you're taking out time to be with me and Heather today means a lot. And again, I'm sending out my love, my wishes, and my prayers to everyone who's experiencing the aftermath of the cyclone. So yes, today's session, again, Women Instability in Times of Instability, is a very, very special series because we're going to again talk about entrepreneurship. We'll be talking about comfort zones. We'll be talking about the new age changes and adaptations that we are making in the times of COVID to maximize our reach of our growth and the skills that we have. And to begin today's conversation, I would like to welcome Heather Ishan Lee. So Heather is joining us all the way from China. And hi, Heather.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So Ishan is the Chinese name for Heather. Otherwise, she is most colloquially and lovingly known as Heather. And the whole agenda of the Stability series to create this platform is to reach out to women globally and see the adaptations, the changes, the thought processes that they're going through to maximize the growth in these times. And when we bring these cross-culture talks on this platform, it gives us a variety. It gives us probably some new direction to process in terms of, chalking out as to what we want to do in a near future. Sometimes, the future comes from weird directions, and maybe the Stability series highlights such an agenda for you. And Heather, today we're going to talk about comfort zones. We're going to talk about how you, as an entrepreneur yourself, you have made a lot of special changes in your life in order to meet up with the times that we are moving in right now. And I had certain thoughts to share on this, Heather. When I was talking about a comfort zone, I think comfort zone gives us a place where the stepping out makes it our responsibility to adjust to the ability, the creativity and the productivity for bringing a change, and I think most entrepreneurs are here to make a change. This is what makes them different from a businessman. This is what makes them create something so adaptable, something very unique in these modern times. And we should always believe that a productivity discomfort is a place from where the growth comes in. The place where growth initiates is a productive discomfort. Only when we are at a discomfort is when probably we're going to make a change. And just like the way Goldilocks said, it cannot be either hot or it cannot be either cold. It has to be something that we can adapt to. And this is where Heather has made a lot of changes in order to connect to the world outside. So let me begin today, Heather, by asking you that you created this platform Dot Connector in the times when you wanted to maximize your growth. By the way, Dot Connector is founded by Heather. It's a platform, again, where she celebrates entrepreneurs who are focused on China African entrepreneurship. But yes, I'm sure she's open to entrepreneurs even from India. Just what I told Joanna, that I think what is common between entrepreneurs between Africa and India, especially in the developing countries, is that they are filled with skills and ideas, which I'm sure people like Joanna and Heather can exploit. and bring it very open in the digital market. So tell me, Heather, I really want to understand your idea behind creating Dot Connector, and when did this happen, and what are you trying to achieve out of Dot Connector?
Yeah, so for sure. So yeah, so that connector was birthed when because I've been pretty involved in the local entrepreneurial community, and I think in any sort of community in startup ecosystem, it's very important because people have these platforms where they can share their experiences and resources with each other to support each other's in growth, so nobody struggles by themselves. So I think like the local ecosystem, has been really inspiring for me. And then meanwhile, I have this passion to connect entrepreneurs between China and Africa, and of course, generally like from any countries in the world,
And you're going to soon
because
mention
China has been
India.
doing a
You're
lot
going
of,
to soon mention India.
yeah, including India, of course. Yeah, because China has been like doing like the whole Silk Road initiative. So there's been a lot of intercontinental exchanges. So I was just thinking like how nice would it be to combine the experiences of entrepreneurs from two continents and to share their journey with each other along the way. And then that's when I started the Dot Connector, because like the Dot Connector is like between two people, there's only like six people in the middle. So between anybody, you can connect with the next person within six introductions. So yeah, so that's how I connected those two ideas together and created this platform.
So when I was reading about you, Heather, you mentioned very beautifully that you like to step out of your comfort zone, and you like to see something which is not visible to the naked eye and pick up that and work on that. It's like you like connecting dots. So I think that is very applicable in COVID times, where many women who are stuck in their homes, or maybe where their work is not giving them that much of feasibility to move out. How does one connect dots? I mean, what can you say to those women who are trying to find to create the dots? And according to you, what is that connects the dots and sees the visible which no one can see?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting concept. I think that that's where it's not visible. Um, yeah, I think that's like the special talent, like someone, like, because there are like a lot of people who are really naturally good at making connections, and they see the hidden connections between things, and usually other people will, like, it will just so easily, uh, like fade into the crowd. So I think it's like a special talent. And during COVID-19, obviously, like there was a time where people were isolated and staying at home. But then with the power of internet, even us being connected through Joanne, it's been like a miracle, because like how else would we have met each other? We haven't been to each
That's
other's
true.
cities probably. So like with internet, it's actually making things invisible more visible, because like now is everything is on, like you can see it black and white. So I think during COVID time especially, like it's the power of internet.
So is it like you started your dot connector when post the COVID, when it started off in China? Is it that when you moved more from your, or I should say along with your content writing, because you're a freelance content writer and you do a lot of edit work, etc. So is this dot connector something happened with you during the COVID times?
Um, no, actually, like it happened before. Yeah, because not too long ago before COVID, I left my job and I felt like, oh, this is the time that I feel really ready, and I'm ready to travel more between China and Africa and just making more personal investment.
Right.
And with the different PR related projects that I have, I wanted to find an angle that would fit into the China Africa as I travel and explore. But obviously, like the travel didn't happen, but the idea is there. And so I've been just thinking of different non-physical ways to continue those connections
So
and to
I see
help
our
people
dot
share
connector
stories.
Heather, you have interviewed and connected the dots with so many beautiful entrepreneurs and startups. What are you learning from there? Or I should ask you, when people are creating these platforms, and as you say, through internet and the easily reachability of the internet and the smartphones, the entire ball game of the business is changing. And people like you and Joanna, who are creating these platforms between cross-border techies and cross-border entrepreneurship, it's creating a lot of scope for these people. But what are you getting out of it? I mean, as a person who has been between jobs, as a person who is wanting to try something new in the PR segment, what is that you are learning from this platform?
Yeah, because I think by talking to people, you can always find the pattern or common themes in conversations that usually you might not be able to see because everyone is individuals. But by having like a lot of conversations, really getting to know people's stories, you start to see like there's actually a lot in common. People are having similar struggles, or they're having similar experience when raising fund, and those are all really valuable personal lessons for me. And then I could also like figure out like what are the needs and what kind of connections people want to make with China, or if one day they want to expand the market or the resources that they need here, like what are the common things. So it's very valuable lessons for me. And so far it's more like personal conversations, but I think especially like now, if you can capture the data in like people's stories, not just like a conversation, but capture the data behind it, and then you can use it for so many different ways
Yes,
and
definitely.
expand the impact. Yeah.
And do you think that over the time that you have created the dot connector and so many awesome, startups being connected with China and even between African, I see so many beautiful people being talked about there. I'm sure they must have built a lot of community work there amongst themselves, wherein it must be, as you say, that the data exchange between them or the issues that they have faced, which they talk about, they're all a learning process. So if you as a platform builder, you are learning from that, I'm sure that must be a lot of exchange between them as well. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's been like really wonderful to see those connections being fostered, because we created a WhatsApp group with all the people we've interviewed before and also other ecosystem players that we've encountered, and people are making real connections, and they're collaborating on small projects. And it's so funny because like even some of them are from the same city, but they weren't really aware of each other, or they wasn't sure, like they thought that they were just by themselves. So it's really nice to be able to create those
So, Heather,
exchanges, and
something.
also like across different parts of
Yes,
Africa, so
and
not
that is
just.
where I
Yeah.
want to ask you. You collaborated with Joanna on this, and so many small collaborations are anyway happening through the dot connector. And the other day, I was just talking to someone, and I said that the need of the COVID times is to co-depend on one another and also to, collaborate with one another on projects, because that is something which is going to maybe convert to a monetized output much in a later run. But right now, what you will be getting out of a collaboration is something which is an immediate audience, a different audience, a more reachable audience. How far do you think the word collaboration in COVID times is important to you? Because you are doing it, you are initiating that on your platform, and as a new age woman who is exploring so many different ideations by leaving a job, trying to find something new, wanting to travel. So it's all about collaboration. What do you have to say as a new age thought thinker, influencer about collaboration and interdependence between one another?
Mm. Yeah, so like contrary to like some people's beliefs, I really do believe in the value of collaboration, of us bringing what we have together and make a bigger impact. Because I think in the entrepreneurial community, like especially, I think it may be like the male characteristic, they like to do things by themselves and they're really comfortable or secure, like they think that they have the whole master plan and they don't need people supporting them. And I think I want to challenge it because like finding like-minded people to collaborate with, you can learn so much from each other. And like this COVID time, it's kind of unusual because I used to collaborate with people that I have met in person, and like it's a whole different dynamic once you build the trust with someone in person. So like being able to break the first barrier of like, I've never met this person ever, but I'm gonna trust that there is something valuable in this person's journey. And even though we're so far from each other, but there is a way to push it so we can cross paths. And I think it's definitely stretching my comfort zone, but it's been a really great experience because I feel like the connections I've made during this time, like after COVID, it will translate it to really, really impactful long-term
And why do you
relationships.
say that, that the connections that you've built after COVID probably are the most stronger ones?
Um, Yeah, I think it's like we value these connections more in time of unstable times like this. We value how like it used to be so easy to connect with people, you don't even think about it. But now reaching out, stepping out, it all takes like a lot of initiatives and intention like being intentional. So I think people really value that, and it's really special because like if you're here at your own home, then like someone reach out to you, and then like it's just very like close immediately. So I think that's special.
And why is it that you chose Africa? Just like Joanna told me, she reached out to Africa is because she goes back to her roots and she wanted to give back to her community. What made you choose the African and Chinese ecosystem more than any other countries? Why not India? Why did you think about India?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Actually, I had a lot of friends when I was studying in the US from India. So I was once very connected to the Indian community, but after I moved back to China, I kind of lost that that part of me, but I would still like to reconnect at some point. Um, yeah, like for me, I don't know if it's Africa chose me or if I chose Africa, but it's just been happening pretty naturally. My immediate community when I first moved back to China are the African students studying here. They're going through like similar life transitions as I have experienced before as an international student in the US. So I really feel like relate to their story, and being able to see them grow, graduate, go back to their home country or stay and work. It's been like just really rewarding. I feel like I'm part of a lot of people's journeys in China, and I really want to make a difference.
Yes,
So yeah.
because I think, I'm not sure if you heard about my discussion with Joanna, because we were talking about as she had the topic to talk about the entrepreneurship in developing countries. And I told Joanna what I thought about you and Joanna, that you guys are building international platforms to showcase the skill and the adventure and the journey of the startup ecosystem. So yes, after you're done with Africa, you must think of picking up some beautiful entrepreneurs from my country, because I'm sure they would love to have that collaboration, that dot connect, and that celebration that you're doing on your platforms with these amazing entrepreneurs. Because I'm sure you'll want to research, and maybe I can put you on to some. They are just amazing to talk about.
Yeah, that will be amazing. Yeah, you'll be my dot connector in India.
Thank you.
So I'm
Thank
really
you.
looking forward to that.
So, coming to the next facet about your work, which really intrigued me, Heather, was your content writing. Because I think in the times, again, COVID gives us that ability to build that content writing. A lot of companies are looking out because of the reachability of the internet and the way they want to brand their work, they want to brand their service. They're looking out for this um, uh, this this uh, this range of content writers. And that's where I think digital entrepreneurship is going to have a lot new way, the way people are going to look at it, because this particular part probably was just restricted more for the graphic designers. And but over here, with the coming in of this entire interconnectivity through smartphones, etc., content writing is going to be the really something that we're going to really see in the next few months and times to come. So what can you think and tell us about, do you think content writing is going to take a change in these times? How far do you think it's going to create an alleviation for the content writers? Because I have seen your profile and people have amazing things to tell about your freelance writing and the way you build the content for them. So I really want to hear from you, as a very successful content writer yourself. What do you think is going to be the future of content writing post-COVID times?
Um, well, I think good content has never changed throughout time. It's always like what speak to people, and like good writing skills. Those things are always going to be essential. But obviously, during this time, a lot of companies are really valuing that, because content is something like once you put it on the internet, it's always there, and it's there to speak about your brand. Is where how customers can find you to like as SEO, like search engines, optimization. So like those are really important. So I think like a good content writer like definitely adapt to the digital stage. So like finding the keywords that people are searching for, the kind of topics that are trending, like those skills are very important, as well as just good writing skills for sure.
Yes, and I really wanted to ask you to share your views. As the title of my conversation is Women in Stability in Times of Instability. So when I asked you to be a part of this series, and especially to talk about this adaptation as a woman, as a person who is working and sustaining in such different times, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I think I really got intrigued by how you came up with this topic. I know it's very relevant, but I think it's always nice to have discussions on this, because personally, like as a woman, as a millennial woman especially, like I think people generally perceive you as not, because millennials are never stable. We're always jumping on to the next thing. We're always exploring about ourselves, and like it's definitely been a time for me to search for stability in the last year or so, and especially during this time to reestablish myself after going through a lot of changes. And I think like it definitely took a lot of looking internally of what are the things that I want, or what I want to build, what I want to commit to, and finding those values was really important for me. So like now, even though with the job change, I still put my dot connector platform as a priority, because that's something I want to build in the long run. So getting a job was a stepping stone, or is a way to help me find my security. But at the same time, it's going to enable me to pursue my passion. Uh, so yeah, I'm still on this journey, but I think I've learned a lot.
And being in China, especially in these times, and I was just speaking to Joanna, how she was saying that she's also still trying to adapt to the new teaching skills in the university, and trying to optimize the work best, with reaching out to people online, and yes, through collaborations, etc. So how much of life do you think is getting back to normal for you, and what is now the new normal for you, Heather?
The new normal. Yeah, I was really looking forward to like the day where things feel like normal again. But that might never happen, because it's like the new normal. You have to accept the changes for how they are. But fortunately, like in Shanghai, everything has been like pretty much gone back to normal. There's a lot of activities going on, and people are moving around. So it feels really like it gives you this, like it's not a delusion that everything is normal, but you feel that. So I think it's energizing physically. And then I think like the new normal is you take what you learned during the quarantine time and you took those things into your physical day-to-day life. So like during the day, I'll still think about like the stories that I want to build with entrepreneurs far away. Like maybe I never had that perspective before, so I was
Yes.
more like just in tune to my immediate surroundings. So like now there are like multiple layers of the things that I care about. um yeah, so like that's what I'm trying to adapt, like physically and also like virtually.
So I think that's beautifully said, Heather, because see what you have probably learned in the quarantine time, reaching out to these entrepreneurs, trying to find your passion, not letting that growth period die, trying to incubate new ideas and trying to use your writing skills and your ability to reach out to the many globally is what your reach was during the quarantine, which you're exploring now. We are still going through the period, as you know, that we are still under the lockdown, and a lot of manifestations of thoughts, of work, of adjustability is still being happening with us all over my country. So it's good to interact with you because it gives us hope. It gives us, as you say, an illusion, but a beautiful illusion to look up to, that things would be better at our end too. And yes, coming to the main topic, which is the way you stabilized yourself in the COVID times by not letting your passion die, working on your instincts of reaching out to these entrepreneurs, creating Dot Connector, and still going on with your passion of writing and trying to move out still of your comfort zone is awesome. Because I think that the technology of the future is changing the entire business ball game altogether, where you can access your life and your business from just anywhere, where you can make modulations to your thoughts from just anywhere, where you can reach out to people from just anywhere, the way I've just done that to you, Heather. And I think it is low on your finance but high on your output, because it's the way you can monetize it, it's the way you can collaborate it and build with it. So yes, Heather, I think I've been trying to understand from your profile, and what I just loved and wanted my viewers to know about you is you are a woman who used the COVID times, though the work on Dot Connector had started before the COVID, but you used this quarantine time to build on that thought that you did and reached out to so many awesome startup ecosystem from Africa, trying to focus on Africa, China, cross-border work, and probably now you're open to some more connections coming your way. So yes, before we leave today, Heather, I would like you to maybe share some more of your finest thoughts if you have about your work, anything that you want to say about Dot Connector, where people can reach out to you. Yes, you can definitely reach out to Dot Connector on Instagram and hear the amazing podcasts and talks the way which are celebrated there on the platform. So yes, Heather, on to you. What would you like to say finally to my viewers about the changes, about stepping out of your comfort zone, about not letting the quarantine time just go and using it to your optimum growth? And yes, I would definitely want them to reach out to Dot Connector so that they can explore the kind of work you're doing there. So yes, Heather, please shine some light.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's actually really been nice to be in this position, because now that I think back, when I was like in my quarantine time, there was so much confusion because like no other countries have gone through it entirely, so you don't know what's coming. And I think like now I look back, I don't feel like I completely utilized my time, but I think I did take the journey to explore and to go through whatever I had to go through to find ways of reconnect with my passion. So I just want to encourage all of you. I think, yeah, like it's probably still hard to see when this is going to end, but this is a really good time for you to find your internal passion and build the content around it. And I'm still constructing my website actually. So hopefully soon I could launch a Dot Connector trailblazers.me, where you can access the podcast and more articles about the stories between China and Africa tech ecosystems. And I also want to contribute more bilingual content. So there will be more knowledge exchange across different languages as well. And then, yeah, you can follow me on Instagram.connector.me as well. So yeah, just keep, yeah, that's where you
Are
can
these
stay updated
articles,
to
some
my
of
work.
the articles available on Instagram for them to read on? Where can they read these articles, Heather?
Yeah, so the articles is currently being posted on WeChat, which is the Chinese app. And then once I have my website ready, there will be international visitors will be able to see my articles as well. So I'm really looking forward to the day. Yeah, I'm gonna like push hard, hustling, motivations.
Yes, yes, because I think you're doing an awesome job by bringing these amazing startups. Because we do need platforms. Because this is where the community gets built. This is where the collaborations happen. The funding is also raised. So I think it's an amazing job that what you and people like Joanna are doing. That is encouraging these young generation entrepreneurs to come forward. And I wish you all the very best, Heather. And I'm waiting for the website to come in, and once you do share with me, because I would love to share it within my community. And I'm really looking forward to connect you to amazing ecosystem startup from my country.
Awesome. I can't wait. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you everyone for joining me today. It was really awesome to connect with Heather and know that we can maximize our time during the COVID. As Heather says, that she was there in it, but she realizes that maybe she did not use the time to the optimum, but yes, she did. She gave a new dimension to Dot Connector and to her thoughts, and she's all fresh about it. And I'm sure the time that we are in, we are going to pick up a lot of positivity from here to take us into the near future. So looking forward to an amazing session again with all of you present here. Good day, stay safe and stay home. Bye-bye. Bye, Heather.
Bye. Bye.